two sides with a rich history are awaiting a clash that will have fans and pundits alike talking for weeks to come. This is surely a match that will go down in the history books. We'll have all the action for you live here on EA TV.
Well, there have been so many great stories and games between these two, and we're hoping for another tale to tell after this latest instalment.
Hello, welcome back to Armchair Armory, and it feels like this fixture comes around very quickly, even more and more quickly every single season. I'm talking, of course, about the North London Derby. It's very rare that we, in the last couple of years, that we've played them at their ground first, but yeah, it feels like it comes around very quickly. And this is a North London derby like no other, really, because there's been a lot of buzz and a lot of news around Arsenal lately, particularly referring to injuries. We've got a lot of injuries, particularly in our midfield. I think defence and attack, we're all right, but our sort of midfield options are very limited to start with. So if we go back a week or so, Declan Rice is obviously out for this game because he is suspended. He got a second yellow card against Brighton. Controversially or uncontroversially, I think I said at the time when I was reacting to the game that it was a little bit harsh. I understand the logic of why he got that second yellow card, but I thought it was very harsh. There was a point where something like that happened to Tomiyasu. I think it was around the same time in the season, I don't think it was third game, I think it was like fourth or fifth game he got sent off. It's very unfortunate. The good news is that at least it's only just one game and he'll be back for City, but you always want your full squad against your rivals. Mikel Merino, our brand new signing that a lot of fans are saying is probably going to be the sort of starting midfielder going forward. He got injured in his first training session. Gabriel Magalhaes fell on him. So he's out for probably until October, something like that. And then the most recent, Martin Ødegaard, our captain, rolled his ankle while on international duty for Norway in this pointless competition they call the Nations League. Just glorified friendlies and an excuse for UEFA and to some extent FIFA to make more money. It's ridiculous. It's just pointless games for no reason. So yeah, we're a little depleted, and there's been a lot of talk about what we're going to do in terms of midfield. I think what will happen is Havertz will be moved back into midfield alongside Jorginho and Partey, and I think the good news, there's a bit more good news there as well, is that Gabriel Jesus is apparently expected to be fit for this game, so I think he might start. If not, I saw James from AFTV make a good point that Trossard could play that false nine with Martinelli and Saka on the wings. I think regardless, despite the bad omen of this EAFC 24 sim that you're watching, since I've moved property, I've lost 3 in 3 so far. Maybe because I always find with these FIFA games, FIFA/EAFC games, is that towards the point, because I think the new game comes out in 2 weeks' time, towards the end of the cycle of the previous year's game, it gets impossible to play. So it becomes either harder to play, or for some reason the controls don't work properly, or it's more buggy and stuff like that. So that might be why, I don't know. But as I always say, it might be just because I'm crap at the game. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I lost this one quite heavily, and obviously because it's Spurs, it's more annoying, but it's only a game, doesn't matter. But yeah, so you'd think that I think we still have a good enough team to beat them, but because it's at their ground, I know that like we made it was very difficult in the last sort of half an hour of the second half against them last season. We were 3-0 up at half time, they pulled it back to 3-2. They had most of the ball towards the end of the game, and they probably could have gone on and got that equaliser. So yeah, and it's always a difficult one when you come back from an international break, and it's always difficult going away on your first game back after an international break. I'm not looking forward to it, as I never am with games against Tottenham. I think so, you know, in the last 2 years our record has been good. We've beaten them twice. We've beaten them twice at their ground in the last 2 years. I think we drew at home last season and did the double over them the season before. I still think we're in a good position to win, but you never know with a derby. A derby is always the what's the word I'm looking for? The form goes out the window, as they say. The old cliche is that form goes out the window with a derby. But I still think we've got a good enough squad to win. A lot of people are calling for Sterling to start. I don't necessarily think he will. I'd be surprised if he did, because I don't think Martinelli's played that badly enough to not start. And he'd be quite good for the Ange high line that Tottenham play. So we'll see how that goes. The thing I've noticed with Tottenham is that they're very, very inconsistent. Since Ange has come in, they've been they started off really well last season, but they were very inconsistent towards the end. And obviously, you know, there's that whole controversy around, you know, people think that they threw the game against City to basically put City in a position to win the league last season. And, you know, there was the whole thing about Ange arguing with the fans and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. So adding that into the equation, it's going to be a crazy game. You see that Liverpool and City have already won 3 out of 3. We've already dropped points, so we have to win this game essentially. The next 3 games, Spurs, Atalanta and City, are really important. Like, I know a lot of people are saying it's not the end. I heard Harry Symeou saying, you know, he's got a point to some extent. He's entitled to his opinion. I heard him saying that, you know, it's not the end of the world if we drop points against Atalanta, but I think it's really important in this sort of extended Champions League phase that we do get 3 points on the board, because, you know, we're up against 31 other teams, and, you know, that point could come in handy at the end in terms of automatic qualification and going through to the round of 32. And then obviously City afterwards, and I think it's very important that we win against City. We managed to draw and beat them last season. We have to win at the Etihad. I think just for the psychological edge, we have to win at the Etihad. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about was this constant obsession with a lot of fans have with trying to find an excuse to. Oh, before I come on to that, Mikel Arteta has signed a 3-year extension to his contract, which I think is good. I think that these next 3 years will not be as free pass-ish, if that's a phrase, as the previous 3 years. I think that people will, and myself included, will probably be a lot more scrutiny for Arteta. I think if he doesn't, you know, at least win a trophy this season, it's going to start feeling like, you know, it's all good that he's kind of taken the club to where it is now. He's kind of breathed life back into Arsenal, but at the same time, it's like, well, we haven't won anything since he first came in. We haven't won anything since that FA Cup. I know the Community Shields we've won, but still. So yeah, I mean, we came so close last season. It will just be, if we just become a nearly team, it will just be ridiculous. So yeah, but yeah, this obsession people have, speaking of Arteta, this obsession certain fans have, and I won't name names because obviously I'm nobody in this space, who keep trying to find reasons to say that, or to subtly imply that we need a change of manager or we need a change of sporting director and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of fans saying that the transfer window has been bad and this, that and the other. And the reason why they say that, going back to EAFC, which you're watching now, and FIFA, is because people think that that football is like a video game, that they just go to the player they want and then just transfer them over to their team. And it's not how that works. We can't buy backups in every single place. We couldn't buy a backup for Ødegaard at the same level as Ødegaard. We couldn't buy a striker. Well, we probably could have brought a backup striker, and I think that's what we were in the market for. And we couldn't really find, and it seemed like we couldn't find one. But it also feels like people were expecting like Gabriel Jesus to sit on the bench when we spend another 100 million on Gyökeres or something like that. And I think the one thing that this club has been criticised for in the past is buying and selling badly. And I think we've learned from that. We've gotten a lot better. We sold very well this summer, I felt. I think people need to. I think a lot of these famous fans are in a rut where they think, well, this was sort of what I was known for, so subconsciously I have to still remain in that mode. I still have to remain in that way of thinking, but I can't be obvious with it because the people that I go on their channel and the exposure I have is against my opinion, so I have to water down what I actually believe, which isn't good. Like, I think if people want to say that they want the manager out, that's their opinion, and they should be allowed to say that. I'm a big believer in free speech and not being censored. But I think be honest about it. Like, I think you're wrong, but yeah, I think be honest about it and say that's what you're thinking, rather than skirting around and saying, oh, well, because we brought badly. Oh, yeah. It's, in other words, it's almost as if it's just petty. It's like setting up for failure. It's like saying, okay, well, the club didn't buy who I wanted them to buy, so I'm going to keep it in the back of my mind that this happened, and then as soon as things go wrong, that's when I'm going to start saying, oh yeah, Arteta out and all that sort of stuff. It's just a bit, yeah, it's just a bit petty. It feels a bit put on at this stage. Like, if we go past this season and nothing's happened, then I'd start being like, okay, yeah, you know, you've built us up now, you've put us back on that level, so to speak. Like what's the reward for it? Because we can't keep being second place and then going into a top four battle again. Going back to Spurs, this is why this is really important that we win this game, because with City around the corner, we can't go into that game dropping points, either losing or drawing 2 games in a row. But we'll see what happens. I'm not going to predict a score because it's too big of a deal to predict a score, and this is my show, so I can do what I want. So yeah, but hopefully I'll be watching it from behind the sofa, which you can probably keep seeing on my right. That keeps well, it's my left, but on here it's my right. Yeah, there it is. Every time I move, you can see my sofa. I don't think I have space to hide behind it, but I'll be hiding behind something on Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back again after the game on Sunday. But until then, take care and stay safe.
Another look now, and you can see he's under all sorts of pressure here. He's done well, though, to fend them off. Really strong play and a good finish too.
Well, the game restarts, the result in no doubt, and what a display this has been. In behind, can he finish? The goalkeeper more than ready for it. It's played in now. It's only halfway clear. And the keeper makes the save. And really, we shouldn't have expected anything else. Well, danger averted, but it will be another corner. And it's on now. Oh, it's still in there. The defensive job done for now. The game almost over, and for those on the wrong side of the score, it's been a bleak one to be at.
Well, they just never got out of second gear. People will point the finger towards the centre-backs, the keeper, but they just haven't had any protection either. So much space for their opponents to operate in, and the final whistle just can't come soon enough.
The counter looks on here, options available. Can they take advantage? The counter fizzling out in the end. And that's gone over the line for a goal kick.
For Tottenham Hotspur, coming off the pitch, number 8 leaves Basuma, to be replaced by number 18 Giovanni Lo Celso.
Gabriel. Havertz. Played to White. Well, that brings a close to the match. A frustrating day here for Arsenal, far from at their best, and it's 3 points dropped.
Well, I think the coaching staff will be furious after that. They clearly didn't implement the game plan. There was no real effort either. I'm sure there'll be words in the dressing room after that performance.
Well, what about Son Heung-min's performance today, Sue? He's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he caused them a lot of problems off the ball, closing them down and never giving them a minute in possession. On the ball, he was brave and showed quality with his goals.